Hi guys, welcome back to LPB Racing for the historic Open Wheel Championship on Project Cars 2. We are ready for a start here at Zolder and we're ready to go. Let's have a look at the positions then. So it's Andrea on pole from Spapper, Neil and Bidster. So let's go into the race. Ready to go. It's raining here at Zolder, really bad weather conditions and we're off. Andrea, Neil and Spapper get a good start. Midfield looks pretty tight as Andrea leads the way into the first corner then. Bidster looking up the inside of Spapper a bit further back, and there's contact with someone. Someone's gone round. I think it's Cyrex who's gone round. Yes, he is. Cyrex has gone round, and then Azadar gets hit as well by Blake. All happens there as they all come through turn 2 and round the back of the circuit towards the back straight. One corner to go before the back straight. Spapper with Bidster right behind him. Obviously the winner from the first race. As we go down the back straight then. Andrea in the lead, Neil and Spapper battling it out for second place. They had contact in the first race and they avoid it this time. So Spapper goes a bit slow out the corner. Bidster tries to make amends for it, but can't quite do it, as I think it was the car on the other side. TY's getting himself stuck in there as well. Spapper going round here and onto the brakes into the chicane. Spapper goes very wide onto the gravel, goes across the gravel, has to cut across the circuit. And then he lets Bidster go. Sensible stuff. Or is he going to let him go? Ooh, that could be a little penalty waiting to come, but we'll have to see. As Callum, TY and Spapper head up the hill then. Let's have a look further back. We've got Cyrex working his way back up the field as well, as we look at Bidster up the inside of Spapper, then into the hairpin. Bidster goes up the inside of Spapper, but Spapper, straight on the cutback, not having any of that, not letting Bidster have it easy at all. As Andrea now getting back, challenged for the lead by Neil. Neil looking to take the lead up the inside, and he does so. Neil takes the lead as Bidster passes Spapper back up the inside into the chicane, into the last chicane. Bidster takes third place then onto the front straight. Neil and Andrea very side by side as Spapper makes a mistake there, and TY gets let through as well. So Andrea behind Neil then. So Neil in the lead of this race. Remember, you can't pit within the first 2 laps. You've got to wait until lap 3, and the last lap to pit will be lap 23. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen as Neil runs a bit wide but gets away with it, as Spapper then a bit further back in 5th place. Cyrex catching up to these boys as well. Blakeney and Azadar further back after the first lap incident, so we'll get a replay on that just now. Okay, here's a replay of the start there on board with Azadar Blades. We get a good start. We go to the right of Cyrex, then Cyrex eventually gets away. Now watch Cyrex on the right, goes into the corner, loses the rear end, spins in the middle of the pack. Azadar can't do much to avoid him really. Then we see other cars get involved, and then as we rejoin, we suddenly slow down and hit the brakes, and then Blakeney runs into the back of us. So a bit dangerous there by Azadar Blade, but we continue. And now here's a look from Blakeney's point of view. So a bit more of a bad start for Blake as we go down towards the first corner. Cyrex and Azadar ahead. So what you'll see here, Cyrex spins. Azadar can't avoid him. We have to go to the inside to avoid them as well. A bit of contact with Cyrex. Then suddenly Azadar Blade slows down, and then we hit the back of him. So Azadar Blade apparently was slowing down to let Cyrex back through, but he should really have cleared the pack first before slowing down. As we come back from that then, Andrea in 2nd position behind Neil, still pressuring him hard. Obviously the weather conditions really bad here, and the track will be getting a lot worse. It doesn't look very wet from this outside camera, but I can tell you this, the track was almost completely flooded at some points in the race, so it was very treacherous conditions, and also the spray's a big problem as well, because you can't see a thing when you're behind another car at all. As we look at Andrea there into the chicane, Bidster closing up on him into the chicane. Neil slides his way into the chicane, Andrea slides as well. Bidster looking for a way through, can't quite find a position just yet as he looks to the inside of Andrea at the corner, gets the power on, but Andrea says no you don't, Sunshine, keeps it around the outside, or does he? Was the contact there? He goes off. Andrea goes off. TY goes around the outside of Bidster as well, taking advantage. So was the contact between Bidster and Andrea there? We'll get a quick replay now. Okay, let's see if there's any contact between Bidster and Andrea on lap 2. So we're going into here, then into this next corner. Let's watch the left hand side. No, there was no contact, but Andrea just avoided Bidster at the last minute, and then he went up the hill. As we come back from that then, Andrea behind Bidster. Will Bidster let him go? TY's having a battle with him as well, but Bidster's that busy looking at TY that he doesn't really see what's going on, so we'll have to see what's going to happen there. But Bidster into 2nd place then. Andrea goes a bit further backwards then. Amazing what can happen in a lap. As Cyrex closes right up to the back of Spapper, he still can't find a way around the Italian. Spapper holding off very well here. Onto the straight, Cyrex has a little look on the power, gets much better traction out the corner and just powers past him on the straight. That just shows you the traction. When you can get it right, you can really make up some good positions. So Cyrex goes through then into 5th place. Bidster's in 2nd, he's trying to catch up to Neil Farmack, who makes a little mistake out front. Neil Farmack makes a mistake and the track's getting even more wetter now. It's getting really, really treacherous, the conditions here. As we look from the cockpit, that's how wet it is. Really soaking wet, the track. As we look from the roof camera. On board with Bidster, looking at Neil Farmack. Into the chicane, Neil's lost it. Oh, he's lost it big time. And then over the... get the traction out the corner, Bidster takes the lead. As they go over the top, Neil Farmack still struggling for grip. Andrea has gone round somewhere, I think, because he had contact with TY, because TY's falling back, so TY's gone backwards here. So there might have been contact there, we'll get a replay. Okay, let's have a look here at lap 3 into the chicanes. Looking at TY. Into the corner we go. Neil spins, and then behind TY goes onto the thing. There he goes, and round he goes, spins right round, and then has to try and get going. And then gets going eventually and continues up the hill, so that's how he lost all them positions. As you come back from that then, TY back down to 5th place after that. And we've got Callum and Growley quite close around here somewhere. Oh, Callum's gone round. Growley's gone through, Arsedar's gone through, Callum's on the grass trying to recover. So where's Stacker? Stacker's gone off as well, so everyone really struggling there. Because unknown to the cameras, there is a massive puddle in the middle of the track, which is really treacherous, and I'm surprised it's not brought red flags out, but still, they continue on, because back in the day they used to continue on, so will we. Back in the 70s, 80s, if it rained like this, they'd just keep going as they go to lap Bradders, who's still getting used to that new wheel, remember, from the first race. And obviously, what a christening for his new wheel. Oh, Bidster's lost it! Bidster's lost it on the straight, hits a massive puddle in the middle of the road, and goes round. You can't see it on camera, guys, but there is a massive puddle in the middle of the straight. And the first sector is absolutely treacherous as Bidster has to wait for a gap in the traffic, and Spapper almost hits him. Oh, close stuff. Bidster gets it spun round and gets going, but he's lost a lot of places there. As Cyrex looks up the inside of Andrea into the first sector, but this is where it gets really treacherous. As contact's made, what you can see here, it's very wet, but what you can't see is there's loads of little puddle lines across the track, which are basically puddles, and it's really causing the cars to aquaplane. They are aquaplaning all over the place, so it's literally going to be a massive battle to keep the car on track. So as you can see there from Cyrex's view, but yeah, you can't see these puddles on the camera, but they are everywhere. There's a massive one out of this chicane as well. So you go through here, there's a massive puddle on the inside, you can just see it there. Then out the corner, literally the track is covered with water, it's like a swimming pool, and that's why they all can't get the power down out of there. So that's why it's causing us to go really, really slow. But obviously we are trying as best, but we can only drive to the conditions. And even though it looks a bit nicer than what it is, it's absolutely mad as Callum goes on the grass there in the first sector, which is really, really treacherous. Because you can see the cars twitching there every time it hits a puddle. That's why they're going really slow. It's because we can't go any faster than that. Even with wet tyres on, if the track's flooded and you're aquaplaning, you can't do a single thing about it. So you've really got to just try and survive, really. It's not really what you call racing, but obviously I put the weather on this game to sort of just this is normal rain. This is not storm or anything, this is just normal rain. But look at it, I put it on normal rain and it's coming down like it's a blooming hurricane. So I don't know what Project Cars were thinking with this, but I literally just put it on one slot of rain, and it's just, well, two slots, sorry, one slot of rain and then one slot later on in the race to dry up a little bit. But it's really, really coming down. It's really, really treacherous, and I'm surprised that this is normal rain, because the cars are aquaplaning all over the place. If this is normal rain, I'd hate to see what the storm conditions would do, because they'd absolutely, I think it'd be absolutely undrivable unless you're in a four-wheel drive. But we'll have to see as they go here, as they go through the first sector. Oh, stupid how slow they've got to go. Look at the twitchiness, so because there's just lines across the circuit where the water is. It's ridiculous. And you think in Belgium they'd make a track that could suit rain, but I don't think it's the track's problem, it's the game's problem, because if they program this for normal rain, I'd hate to see what storm weather's like I said earlier. So we'll have to just try and survive through this race, see if we can go through as Neil Aquaplane's off there. Cyrex takes the lead then. So Cyrex completely takes the lead as let's go on board with Bidster, and you'll see what we're talking about here with the treacherous conditions. So we're going down to the next chicane. Now let's listen to the car through here. You'll listen to it wheel spin on the way out. Listen to this. Oh, you can hear Bidster's going really slow on the throttle there. Let's see if we can hear anyone else actually trying to go for it on the power a bit more. Crowley might do it. Oh, see Aquaplane over the curb there, and it's just stupid amount of water on the track. And Stacker in the first sector as well, and Callum. You can hear the car going. That's the car wheel spinning on all the puddles on the track. You can't see him from the camera, unfortunately, so the replay doesn't show the true representation of the track. But there is a lot more going on than what you can see from here. So everyone did really well to cope with it. And we'll have to see who comes out on top at the end. But Cyrex goes across the line. Nothing phasing Cyrex here. Cyrex in the lead. So anyone can pit whenever they want now, up until lap 23. But you've got to pit at least once. And change all 4 tyres. But we'll see what happens here. So Cyrex goes round. Oh, he's spun at the first corner on the puddles as Neil Farmack just avoids him. Cyrex resets sensibly and gets on his way. And TY around here somewhere, he's just been passed by Andrea, I think. So Andrea making his comeback, but look at the water everywhere. They just can't get the power down as Andrea spins on the Aquaplanes on the water as well. TY almost loses it as well. This is going to be more or less the story of the race, guys. It's all about trying not to spin but obviously it's not easy, because look at how slow they're all having to go around the track. It's stupid, spinning at 20 miles an hour. That's how much water there is. So note to self for next time on Project Cars 2, do not use rain on Zolder, because it is crap. There's too much water and it's ridiculous. And I think I can safely say, even if we were all in GT cars or even road cars, we'd struggle around here with all the surface water. So everyone's doing a really good job to keep it on track as Bidster chases Azadar Blade. As Azadar Blade hits the water, you can see the car Aquaplane in there on the water. Perfect shot. You can see the car sliding as Bidster goes over the top of the hill to try and get Azadar. Almost loses it on traction over the top. Bidster closes up, but I don't think he's going to find a way through as Bidster goes back down behind Azadar Blade then, as Bradders is going really slow as well. His teammate, so Bradders really struggling here. Not the best race to probably debut your wheel, but if he wants to do it, that's up to him. As we go around the back end of the circuit, up towards the 90-degree right-hander, up and over the brow, and down to the 90-degree right-hander as Azadar almost hits Bradders, trying to keep out the way. And his teammate goes through. Bidster, who's in 4th. Oh, Bradders goes into the wall. Aquaplane's under brakes and goes off. Azadar taking a lot of curb there, being very brave to take the curb. I would not touch a curb in this weather. I won't even dream of going near one. As Stacker and Callum and everyone really spinning around in the first sector in the what we'll now call the lake. It is an absolute lake, this first sector now. Look, that's how slow they're having to go in order to actually get round. So Stacker's there, he's really struggling for grip as well. Let's have a look at Cyrex then, he's catching up to these boys. And TY. Well, TY goes off on the water as well. TY Neil, so even the best of us can't keep it on the track. So Cyrex, don't know what Cyrex is doing, he must just have the luck of the gods on his side. But he's doing really well in these conditions as he comes up to lap Stacker and Callum. Now watch as we go through the water, you can see that puddle there, but then here, wheel spinning, and then he just goes off, and then he goes over the puddle, and then goes over the top of the hill. So we might as well call it this. It's not old F1 cars, it's the F1 Powerboat series, the P1 Powerboat series that they show on TV, where they're actually in speedboats, and you can believe it in this one, because I think if we all had boats and oars, we'd go faster. But it is what it is, and we're all having to survive it. And everyone doing well to try and keep it on track. I've got to commend everyone so far for doing a good job. So I don't think anyone's pitted yet. Cyrex is not pitted yet. TY no. everyone will be leaving it until later on in the race to pit, I would imagine. As we go around the top end of the circuit with Neil Farmack. The two Italians running close together, 2 seconds apart, Spapper and Andrea, even though I think Andrea's gone round somewhere here, has he? No, he's not. There he is, he's over the top. There goes Spapper down towards the chicane, nicely keeping hold of the car. Andrea really struggling with the car now. Look how slow they're having to go around these corners, it's ridiculous. Sort of like slow motion. As we look at Bidster coming down towards the the last section, he's about to start lapping people as well. So's Arzadar in the blue car there. Arzadar Blade doing quite well in these conditions so far. Nice controlled drive. That's what you want in these conditions. As is that TY who's got? Is that TY who's gone off in the background, or is that Cyrex? I think it's Cyrex. Yes, TY's already gone through. So Bidster and Arzadar making their way through the traffic then, and Neil. Round the first corner we go. So that's Neil from Arzadar from Bidster in the background. So Neil about to get passed by Arzadar Blade here. Arzadar Blade with, I was going to say with much more grip, but doesn't look like it, as there goes Bidster. Bidster passes him on the inside. But you can see all the cars sliding everywhere, really struggling for grip. As Arzadar passes Bidster back. Let's have a look from Bidster's cockpit, let's watch the revs. See the car dancing everywhere. As we go down the straight then, slowing down, straight down the second gear, into the apex. You see the car drifting on the puddle here, perfect shot there, you can see the car drifting on the puddle, and there's nothing really they can do about it as he goes up to Arzadar Blade, then gets really close to the back of him, but can't find a way through in this weather as he goes into the brakes, into the chicane. Nice around the chicane, oh, slide from Bidster there, but gets away with it. Neil Farmack there just ahead. Doing nicely round that corner. There's Neil Farmack third, his teammate Cyrex dominating this race, 8 seconds ahead of the pack. TY in second with his teammate Stacker quite far down as Neil Farmack has a massive slide and loses it, and he goes onto the grass and goes round and hits Arzadar Blade. He could not avoid him there, but Arzadar takes the position, or does he? Neil stays ahead. Bidster trying to get past them both now. Let's get rid of this so we can actually see what's happening here, and then we can go down to the next corner. There we go, Neil's ahead, Bidster up the inside of Arzadar into the braking zone. I think the track's a one big braking zone, to be honest, because if you take your foot off the brakes, you just get spinning round. But Neil Farmack in third, Bidster in fourth, Arzadar back down to fifth for now, but we'll have to see what happens during the course of the race into this first sector. Into the lake. The first corner's alright, and then from about now onwards, it really starts to get slidey as Bidster showing us there. Massive slide there for Bidster, and he's gone round. So Bidster loses it on the aquaplanes on the water, so... And Arzadar losing it as well, I think, as we can see a bit further ahead on the roof cam. Neil's gone round into the wall. Neil's gone round, TY's gone further back as well, so TY has had a big off as well, obviously with the spinning on the water. Bidster trying to keep up with the rest. So Arzadar then takes second place and almost loses it on the straight. Don't want to be doing that too much as TY closes up to the back of him. And we go into the chicane. Arzadar quite late on the brakes, but going for a wider line, staying away from the puddle. Sensible stuff as TY loses it there, and he can't. Oh, and Neil says, "Hello, I'll give you a hand," and he goes into it himself. And then Bidster a bit further back as Growley keeps out of the way of the leaders. Good job by Growley there. And Bradders again stopped at the top of the hill as well. So into the chicane then, in super slow motion. Neil goes round in the super slow motion and loses the back end of the car, and hopefully rejoins round here somewhere. There he is, and rejoins the track. I do believe at this point, at this point, it will actually be quicker on the grass than it will on the tarmac. So, and you'll probably have more grip. But obviously that's not allowed, so we have to stay on the tarmac. But if we all had four-wheel drives, we'd all be using the grass by now. But Arzadar Blade then still ahead of TY. TY closes up a little bit as Arzadar gets a massive tank slapper on the straight, and TY goes through on the outside. Is he going to try and chance a move around the outside of Arzadar? Azadar brakes late, says not yet, sunshine, not yet. Thank you. As TY is around here somewhere. Oh, he's in the gravel. He's gone off as Azadar rejoins. There's TY behind him. So TY just behind him there, and Bidster just behind him. Going across the start-finish line. And was that TY into the wall? Yes, it was, over that little puddle on the straight. As we've got a car in the pits. Yes, Neil Farmack comes into the pits for his mandatory pit stop. So Neil Farmack into the pits. Let's see if he changes all 4 tyres this time. So into the pits we go. Let's watch Andrea before we watch Neil. So Blakeney comes around the start-finish line as well. He's behind him. Let's have a look at Neil then. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, he's definitely changing all 4 tyres this time. He's learnt his lesson from the last time. And changing all 4 tyres and off the jacks and gently off we go. Not wanting to wheel spin in the pit lane. So Sarex goes through then. He's controlling this race 13 seconds ahead of this man, Azadar Blade, who's showing some good wet weather skills here in the wet. Into the chicane. Avoids the inside curb somewhat. And then goes to the right hand side. The puddle's a bit not as deep. And then straight through. TY does the same but a lot more sort of flamboyantly. And Bidster comes through to the chicane as well. Misses the puddle altogether. And then goes to the left hand side. Look at him aquaplaning off. That's how much water there is down there. Absolutely ridiculous amounts of water. As we look at Growly Bear, and then Callum's just ahead. So Stevie unfortunately couldn't make this one. So Callum on his own for his team. Let's have a look at Neil Farmack. He's coming up to lap stacker, but still in that first sector of treacherous conditions. Not really much of a race this, to be honest. It's just a matter of trying to survive as Neil spins again, unfortunately. So not really much of a race this, really. And unfortunately it cut the end of the replay off as well. So it only recorded up to lap 21. So yet again more brownie points for Project Cars. Not. So yeah, replay is definitely disappointing with Project Cars 2, as I've commented on numerous times. But until they actually get fixed or bring out Project Cars 3, they are still going to get complained about, because I don't see why that GT Sport can have all these replays and all this really good quality and then Project Cars can't with the replays. But you know, hey ho, can't always have it the way that we want it, but still it'd be it's not really the way that we want it, it's the way that we need it, really. But as we continue, there's Callum with Growly just behind. And yes, they are in the same colours, but they are not teammates. I will tell you that now. They are not teammates as Growly gets on the power and spins round completely. And we can't see him yet, so let's see. There's Callum. We can't see Growly still. There's Stacker. We might be able to see Growly in a minute then, if we watch Stacker around this corner, unless he's recovered by now. I think he has. Yep, he's recovered by now. There's Growly on the grass. So. Just trying to stay out of trouble. I don't think anyone else has pitted yet as Growly Bear goes round. So Sarex goes round as well. He's lapped up to 6th place now, so he's lapped everyone up to 6th place. That's how many people are struggling in this race. As we go down to the 90-degree right-hander, Andrea just about gets the car stopped and doesn't take out the leader. As we go around this corner, nice and gentle on the power. And away we go as Bidster then tries to lure in TY, but again having traction problems with all these puddles on the track. Welcome to LPB Racing, the flood. So as we go into the chicane, he almost loses the back end. Really trying hard to try and close down the gap to TY, but doing what he can, but really having to wrestle the car around here. As we go out of that corner there, nicely round. Let's have a look. Anyone else pitted yet? Sarex, no. Azadar Blade, will he pit this time? He's braking too hard, so I don't think so, no. TY's the next person to pit, or has he gone round somewhere? No, he hasn't gone round, it's just the camera being slow as usual. So TY goes down the straight then. Everyone's tyres will be stone cold as well with the conditions. As we go down to the chicane, TY doesn't pit yet either. And will Bidster come in this time, or will he continue round? I think he's going to continue round, yes he is. Andrea and Spapper, they're still in the first sector, so really struggling with this car. Down we go. Let's have a look at Callum and Growly, because they're still quite close on track. About 5 seconds in it as Callum goes down to the next chicane. Really slow in these cars. So we'll look at a few onboards then, just to see how slow people are having to take it. Look at that. Look at the speed of Callum's car. Hardly anything in it. Hardly any speed in it whatsoever as we look down at the revs. Hardly any revs as well. Just trying to keep it all nice and tidy. But not exactly what you call a exciting race really. But unfortunately, not all races go that way. And especially when you get stupid weather conditions, you do anyway. So, because like I said earlier, I just put it on one slot of rain and one slot of lighter rain later on just to ease up the conditions, and it's still making it look like it's an absolute storm and a flood, which is ridiculous. And you don't get this amount of puddles in real life. Never have I seen puddles like this in real life. Or if we did, they'd get red flagged. So yeah, I don't know what Project Cars were thinking by putting weather this severe in the game, but I know it's nice to have the weather and that, and it's really good to drive in the wet. I do enjoy wet weather driving, but there's a big difference between wet weather driving and driving through a ford or through a flood or a lake. So there's a big difference. So it's a shame that it spoiled the race a little bit for us, but hopefully it'll not bother us for the rest of the season if we do have any more wet races. So we'll see how that goes, guys, but obviously can't promise anything. But if you did like what you saw in the last video, which was the sprint race for this one in the dry, which was quite a nice race to watch, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And always wanting more people racing as well. As you can see, we've got 12 people on. We could have a potential 16, so there's still a few slots available. And in GT Sport, we've got about 6 slots available. So if anyone's interested in joining, then please get in touch with us at lpbracing/facebookgroups.co.uk. Or should I say the other way around, facebook.com/LPB Racing. So it would be nice to have you as Growly goes round again on the water. Unfortunately for him, as Stacker comes round, and I would imagine he'll spin as well because it's going to be so treacherous. But having said that, I'm going to put some more faith in Stacker because he's actually not spun yet. So well done. He's not spun on this lap so far. As Zoe goes onto the grass though, he's letting the RZR Blade through with the leader. So he lets the leader through as he goes across the other side of the track, and I think he's probably going to try and let TY through if he can as well. As well, TY's around here somewhere, but I can't see him. Oh, there's TY further back. He's struggling on the grass. So again, everyone having to see the car twitching there. That's how many sort of we've got. We've got like it's like a zebra crossing along the track of, you know, a big puddle, just normal water, big puddle, just normal water. It's like that. It's really weird. It's like having a zebra crossing, and all the black lines are filled with puddles, and the white ones are actually sort of dry enough to actually, you know, go on without any major incident. So it's really treacherous around that sector, and it's all the way around turn 2 into turn 3, and then it all stops at turn 4. But as we go down there, I think the weather conditions starting to brighten up a little bit here. So we've got a car off there, Spapper, and then who was that off behind him? I can't quite see who that was. Was it Neil? Was it? No, I can't really see. Let's go on the roof cameras, let's have a look. It's not Cyrex, RZR, TY, Bidster, Andrea. No, but you can see the weather starting to brighten up a bit now, but I think it's going to be a bit late towards the end of the race because we're still going to have all these puddles on the track. It's going to take ages for him to recover. As Stacker comes over the top of the hill, let's see if anyone else has pitted yet. So Cyrex, I don't think yet. RZR, no. TY, no. I think everyone will probably leave the pit lane on this one till the very last few laps as Bidster loses it on the chicane and then has to go through the treacherous puddle at the end and then eventually gets on the power up the hill. Andrea making his way around the first sector, and Cyrex now on the grass as Andrea loses it into the wall. It's ridiculous. The track looks perfectly fine, but it's not. It's absolutely ridiculous as he can't get back going again. As Neil Farmack comes up to him on the curb, which is even more insane. Because I won't touch a curb with a barge pole in this weather. As Neil goes round on the curb, and that just shows you why. As he goes into the wall, nicely drives into the wall there, and then goes backwards. And then picks first gear, and then gets going as RZR Blade comes through to lap him. So Cyrex on lap 14 then, the race leader. So he's RZR Blade, he's on the lead lap as well. TY just about on the lead lap as well. Bidster, he's almost on the lead lap. He's not been lapped yet by Cyrex, but Bidster's coming up to the last corner. Cyrex is coming up to the chicane halfway through the lap. So half lap to Bidster still, but Steven Cyrex, the race leader, having trouble. But obviously coping with the conditions a lot better than most other people. As I've just said that, he goes round and resets himself, and off he goes. So we'll have to see what's going to happen here with pit stops and that, but Bidster goes round another lap. So look further back, we've got Stacker 10 seconds behind, or 12 seconds behind Callum. So all the gaps really spread. So not exactly what you call an exciting race, and we've only got 15 minutes of the replay left, and that's not enough to get 11 laps done in this weather at all, because we're not, when we're doing about probably 2.5 minutes a lap, maybe 3 minutes a lap with how slow some of these guys are having to go. But ridiculous weather, and hopefully it will be fixed for next time, guys. But we'll have to see. It's like I said at the start of this race, all I intended to do was just have a, just regular ordinary rain, so just a wet track, and no puddles, just a nice wet surface to race on. But unfortunately the game has chucked all these puddles in our faces and spoiled it for us. But never mind, hopefully Project Cars 2 and Slack the Man Studios will be able to sort things out for either an update or Project Cars 3, but that's going to be a while away yet, I think. That's not going to be until the next console, I don't think, but we'll have to see. As we go round the corners, Bradders has retired from the race into the pits. Obviously he only got round onto lap 3 because the wheel and the conditions, so not a good race to debut his wheel, as Growley then comes out the pit lane in that white car. So Growley serving his mandatory pit stop. So well done to Growley, he served his pit stop and gets to the green cones. Limiter off, and away he goes as Cyrex then comes down towards the chicane on lap 15. And that's about as neat as you can get through there, and then drifts the car out on that big puddle and goes up the hill. There's Arzadar Blade then, he's coming down to the next corner. Let's see how Arzadar Blade does it differently to Cyrex, as we've got a couple of cars passing each other in the background. I think that's just people lapping each other. Arzadar Blade goes over the curb, very nice, and just like Cyrex, a bit of a drift over the curb. And away we go, as Neil and Andrea then, they're actually battling for position here. Neil versus Andrea, as Andrea loses it and Neil goes up the hill. So I don't think there was contact by any means there, because it was just, that wet that as soon as anyone tried to put the power down before the other person, they would just spin round anyway. So Neil Farmer, and he spun at the chicane. Andrea's going to catch up here. Andrea's going to catch up. Oh, he spun as well, so half spun, should I say. So unlucky for him, as TY comes up to lap Neil Farmack, so he should move over at some point and let TY go through, because he's lapping him. He should do anyway. He needs to. As TY comes up to lap him, but he's still not letting him through yet. As we go through, Neil Farmack goes wide. TY still can't get round Neil as he loses it, so Neil should have really let him through a bit earlier there, but that could be impeding. But we'll have to see if he gets the penalty at the end of the race. As TY recovers back here, there he is, and he's got to pass Andrea again, lap Andrea. As Andrea goes through, but I would imagine Andrea, if TY doesn't make a mistake onto the straight, he'll let him through. As we go onto the straight then, so Neil Farmack ahead, Andrea in 6th place. He's going to let TY go, or TY's not really close enough, but moves over to the one side just in case he does get a good run on him, but there's no point letting him through until he gets close enough to. Cyrex then in the lead, 6 seconds now to Arzadar Blade, who is closing the gap in. So Arzadar Blade closing the lap in. Closing in every lap. There's 8 seconds now, so he must have made a mistake somewhere, Arzadar. So we've gone up to 9 seconds. So again, that could be one gap to watch throughout the duration of the race, as Andrea goes through there. TY behind, as Andrea loses it. He's gone round, and TY goes through to lap him. Complete 360 and rejoin. So quite a flamboyant rejoin that. So bravo. And on we go. Neil Farmack ahead then in 5th. The 9-second gap to Andrea now, so a little bit more of a cushion. But again, can't afford any mistakes as he goes over the little lake out of the chicane. TY coming up to lap him at some point. Bidster is just about to come up to the line, and Cyrex is coming up towards the second to last corner. So Bidster needs to get a move on unless he wants to be lapped. But he's always lost it again on the straight on that puddle, but still just about hangs on. In 4th place, let's check out what the track's like now. As you can see here, first corner's nice because he goes around the first corner with some quite decent pace. Then into this bit, hits the puddles, boom, 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 a bit like speed bumps. speed bumps of water. That's what they are. That's the best way of describing them. They're like long speed bumps that cover the whole length of the track, and they are covered with water. So that's what they're having to go through. As Bidster and Callum nicely keep to the inside, and Callum lets Bidster go through. And is there anyone behind Bidster as such? Is there anyone that he needs to let through yet? I don't think so. No, no one around Bidster, so that's fine. As he goes onto the straight and loses it onto the tyre wall, but again, just that shows you how hard the conditions are. Not even Bidster, who's a good wet weather driver, can keep it together in this race. So it's all about who makes the fewest spins and who makes the fewest mistakes. As Bidster goes into the chicane then, with Blakeney behind as we go over the puddle. And Cyrex round here somewhere. There he is. With a 7-second gap to RZR Blade in second place. 10 minutes of this replay left, so it took 5 minutes to do about two or three laps, so it just shows you how long it takes. As we go into the chicane with Cyrex then, over through the chicane. Very nice through there, has a nice drift on the puddle on the way out, and off he goes. And RZR Blade about 8 seconds behind. Neil Farmack in 5th. Nicely done through there. Blakeney in 8th. And a lot of curb there for Blake, very risky indeed, but still kept it on the track, kept it going in one place as Bidster comes through the chicane then. And nice and drifts the car around, and on the exit you can see there at the top of the screen. Goes over the start finish line, hits that puddle again, but just about keeps it off the wall this time. Only just. As we go across the line into the first corner, lovely line through the first corner because the first corner is quite nice, and then we get into the section where the speed bumps are, full of water. As you go into here, you'll see the car bounced up and down a little bit on the water, and he goes half spins, but just about recovers. You can see the car going up and down, up and down, up and down a little bit with the front end, and that's just the car, or the car twitching. That's the car hitting those little speed bumps of water. See there from the tyres, you know, boom, 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 with the water. That's how much of the bumps there are there. And round the first corner we go. Cyrex then, he's coming towards turn 2. So Cyrex comes towards turn 2 as Bidster comes onto the straight then. So Cyrex definitely closing up here, but remember there's a lot of people that haven't done the mandatory pit stop yet. So Cyrex not done his yet, I don't think, because RZR's not done his yet. But again, a lot of them will leave it late in the race, but they've got to do it before lap 23. So we'll have to see as TY there goes off, as he's just lapped his teammate. Stacker lapped his teammate as so TY goes through and round the first corner. Yep, all very twitchy through there, and half spins. This is not racing, this is just a little stunt drive, I think. It's not really a race, you can't really call it a race, but still, everyone's having to survive, and if this were me, I would have red flagged this ages ago and waited for the track to dry, but obviously on sim racing you can't quite do that. As Cyrex goes through on lap 18, 8.5 seconds in front of RZR, so both cars still keeping a decent gap to one another. So RZR closes in, Cyrex responds, so it's all going well for Cyrex so far in this one as you come down to the tight right-hander. Into the right-hander we go. Aquaplaning wide as he twitches the car, he gets on the power. Bidster goes across the line then as he's further ahead. TY there in 3rd. Not really any battles on track, unfortunately, to watch at the moment. The only closest one we've got is Andrea and Neil. And they've got Stacker in between them, because Neil's just lapped Stacker. Oh, Andrea's gone round though, Andrea's gone round onto the grass, so again, the treacherous puddles strike again. If you could get a tenner for every time someone spun, you'd be rich as anything. You'd have a month's wages by now. So really silly conditions, but unfortunately that's what we've got. But lesson learned for next time: do not pick rain on Zolder on Project Cars 2, because it does not work. As we go down. And yes, I know I'm slagging off Project Cars 2 a little bit, but if you're going to put silly things in like this and obviously only be able to save 2 or 3 replays at once without having to delete one with modern day technology, whereas on Gran Turismo you can save up to about maybe 30 or 40 replays, maybe even 50 or plus replays. It's just ridiculous, the comparison. So yeah, Project Cars 2 is a much more of a simulation game, and it's the physics of the cars are quite good, but still you'd have thought they'd have put some time into the replay of it so you can actually watch the physics back and watch all the wonderful stuff that you get from the gameplay. But unfortunately not how it's happening, as Cyrix goes through to lap Andrea. I think that was it Andrea, or was it oh, it wasn't Andrea, it was Blakeney, I beg your pardon. It was Blakeney that he was lapping there as we go out the corner. So there goes Cyrix and Blakeney behind him. So Cyrix goes through, and still no one else has pitted yet. Has Bidster pitted yet? I don't think he has. Will he do this time? I'm not sure. He breaks into the chicane. Not this time, no. But don't worry, I will have gone through the replay again after I've done this commentary, and I will check to make sure that everyone did pit. As we go down the straight then. So Cyrix starts lap 20, 5 laps to go, and only 4 minutes left in the replay, so unfortunately we're not going to get the rest of the race in, but it will probably stop at probably the end of lap 21 onto lap 22, and then that'll be it, unfortunately. So that's all we're going to get, folks. I'm very sorry about that, but again, if you've got any sort of if it does upset you that the fact that we can't get to the end of the replays, then please write to Slightly Mad Studios, not myself, because unfortunately I can only go with the stuff that I'm given. So hopefully Project Cars can really fix it for the next game, because it would be a shame if they didn't, because obviously we do like doing the commentaries, and it is a part of my channel now, and I love doing these commentaries. It's just a shame when you can't get to the end of the race and you have weather that spoils it. But still, you can see a slight dry line appearing on the track now, but it's a bit late in the race for it. But you can still see the puddles on track there, and you'll still see here slide, slide, slide. They've still got the massive puddle there, so unrealistic, but that's what we've got to live with. As Neil's gone back behind Andrea then, so Andrea goes ahead of Neil Farmack as the straight's more or less dry now. As they come into the corner though, you'll see the spray. Round on to lap 19 for these boys. Andrea slightly ahead of Neil Farmack, 2 seconds ahead, but will that change in this section? Because this is the one where you've got the speed bumps of water. Will Andrea spin on them? I think he might have done. He's gone on the grass. He's gone on the grass, and Neil's spun as well. He's on the grass, so half spin for him as well as Cyrix comes through the second to last corner. 6 seconds now to Arzadar Blade, so Arzadar Blade finding some pace here. There's Bidster just ahead of Cyrix. Is Bidster going round the corner? Yes, he is. Is Cyrix going round? Yes, he is. Oh, he's gone round though. Cyrix spins round completely. Has to reset again as Arzadar Blade comes towards the last chicane, so that could make a whole big difference. As we go down the straight, Arzadar not pitted yet. TY no, Bidster might have. I don't know if he has or not, but again we'll not get to see it until the end, so I have to rely on other people that they have pitted. Neil Farmack on lap 6. Sorry, position 6 on lap 19. There we are. Get it right way around. There's Spapper and Blakeney there having a nice little battle for position here as Blakeney goes to the outside into the speed bump section, as I'm going to call it. As Blakeney goes wide on the speed bumps and Spapper goes through, but will he be able to hold it over these speed bumps, or will he lose it again? Because it's going to be very treacherous through here as we go through the corner. Nicely done as Spapper takes to the grass and Blakeney does as well, but to be honest with you, I can't blame him at this stage because the water's that bad that they will all spin to the inside, so I'm not really going to penalise anyone for that because it's stupid and they shouldn't have to do it, but unfortunately they are having to. So there goes Bidster over the top and Cyrix behind him, about to lap him. So Bidster about to get lapped by Cyrix. You don't see Bidster get lapped very often, but this might be the one time when he does as we go out of this corner. Don't think he's got a blue flag yet. He might do out of this corner though. As Bidster gets his foot down, clearly stating to Cyrix, I do not want to be lapped, but he has to let him through. So Cyrix goes through, laps Bidster, and out of the other side as we go see the dry line there a little bit, but again, not really much of a dry line as we go down to the last corner. Go down to the last corner then. Cyrex pits. Cyrex pits from the lead then, and that's going to hand the lead to Arzadar Blade. So Cyrex then into the pits as Arzadar Blade goes round, so Arzadar Blade will take the lead of this race shortly, as we will go with Cyrex into the pit lane. There goes Arzadar, he takes the lead of the race. Cyrex comes in. Where's his pit box? Here it is. Let's make sure he changes all the tyres. Into the pit box, up on the jacks. Changing the tyres, and I think that's going to be fine because it looks like it is changing his tyres for him. But guys, if you look at the replay time at the bottom of the screen, Project Cars 2 strikes again, and we unfortunately don't get to see the end of the replay. So if you are annoyed about this and you want to see a change happen, then please do send a message to Slightly Mad Studios and complain about it, because unfortunately all I can do is work with what I'm given. So there we are, 4 seconds left, and what we'll do now is we'll give you the results of this race. Okay guys, here's the results. So Arzadar Blade takes a brilliant win. Well done to Arzadar Blade. Finishes ahead of TY in second place. And then it's Cyrex in third. Bidster is fourth. Neil is in fifth as we go over the page. Andrea finishes in sixth. Then it's Spapper in seventh. Blakeney finishes in eighth. Stacker finishes ninth. And then it's Callum in 10th. Growly Bear unfortunately gets a DQ towards the end. And then it's Bradders who unfortunately had to retire from the race. And now on to the point standings, guys. So it's Bidster leading the championship on 79 points from Cyrex, second on 61. Arzadar Blade moves up to third on 47. Then it's Spapper and Neil 1 point apart in fourth and fifth on 43 and 42 points. In the teams, it's Cyrex and Neil leading the way on 103. Bidster and Bradders on 82. Stevie and Callum on 58. And then Spapper and Growly on 50. 3 points behind them is Andrea and Blake. Then TY and Stacker round off the 6 with 24.